Ross, it makes it tough when you lose 3 guys so early. How do you think they played despite that?
It was a unique experience. I haven't experienced that for a while, but yeah, it happened quick. I think King first, just shoulder popped out, which is really more for the young lad and the club. As a team, I thought we coped. And then Ross, which we haven't had a hammy all year, but I suppose he came in with a compromised medial. Hadn't really done anything during the week, just real light, so that's a bit of a weird one. But I think when you get compromised mechanics, so I feel for him. And then I didn't ever see Cordy get concussed, and he's worked hard for an opportunity, so put some pressure on. Then we just sorted the rotations. I thought the group showed good character and capacity to run and work. I thought, particularly early in the last quarter, I thought we had control of the game. We just couldn't execute in our forward 50. We had 8 entries to none, and then had a bad turnover. We thought if we had scored, we just would have kept going with it. So both teams fought it out, So I think for us, it's how we want to play footy, contest, front half football. I thought we controlled that compared to what we did first half last week. So they responded to the education, and I thought just a qualitative piece for us, which, I often tune into a couple of I like Luke Beveridge's. He just spoke about the qualitative piece. So sometimes, that is the piece. So we just got to keep working to get better. I suppose our young players, our leaders, I thought Steele, it's the best I've seen him move and get to work for a while. So I think he can go on with that. Jones's return was positive with his speed and power, and Billings did a bit. But I thought our young players, Caminiti, Owens, Windhager, Wangan and Philippou, for first and second year players, I just think what they're doing is pretty good. And our leaders stood up, Sinclair, Wilkie, and the people that aren't labelled like Howard leaders anymore, but, and Crouch, I thought they were. And Rowan Marshall was enormous. I think he's got a good record against Grundy. So and that's from our side of the fence, positives. I'm sure they'll have plenty of their own, but in the context of the challenge, I thought we stood up against a team of quality. But the message was there's no excuse for not taking that football forward, so we're not looking to roll our toes up. We get on the bird next week, head up to the Gold Coast. That's the sort of footy we expect to play. And then the message was all just individually, we've got to improve. Spoke to Ryan Burns while he was sub and just said the qualitative stuff and strike at the ball. And then tonight I thought his strike at the ball and his distribution was of a higher standard, right? So they need to play on edge all the time.
Do you have any idea of the seriousness of Max's shoulder? Any clues yet what the issue is?
What did I just cover? We've been sitting waiting for that one.
Yeah, pretty much.
What did I say?
I was trying to figure out what qualitative piece he's trying to translate.
I get it. So I don't live in the injury space so much, but I get it's a hook and it's a big story because he's a pretty special young player for us. So, look, it doesn't look good. I'd be out of my lane if I procrastinated as to, hypothesised to what it is, but it looks on the surface significant. But I'll hold fire till they come to me officially. So, I live in the war space, and the bodies that get dragged away, I sort of worry about later.
Have you spoken to him? How's he doing?
No, I haven't. No. Just for that measure, right? I saw him at half time. I went to the bathroom, and there's in the change rooms there 3 hammy, shoulder, and they're just quiet. They go within themselves. They're disappointed. Then I just give them a hug. I don't say anything, and I keep walking.
When you're in that, I guess, war space and those bodies are going down, as you say, are you sort of shocked? Are you able to push that to the side? How do you sort of deal with that?
Yeah, well, we're paid as coaches to people under pressure are hungry to be led, so it's our job. We haven't experienced it. I'm not sure we had a template for it, but in the palette, that experience was there. So we worked it up. Yeah, you're a bit angsty and I was a bit up and about. But once we got that sorted, I thought we worked it pretty well. The guys on the bench, Brad Newton, our rotations guy, was incredible with Dave Misson and Brownie. So, everyone played their part.
What impact do you think not having Max had on the game? Because we saw Stephen May take so many marks.
I got no idea. Would he have helped? Yeah, theoretically. I thought we controlled Lever. I thought a lot of times our entries put him under pressure, but sometimes you just got to put it in. And, you know, there's a reason he is what he is. Gee whiz, Caminiti's out of the under-18s. Thought he was pretty good. Owen's second-year player, pretty good. Philippou, first-year player, pretty good. Gee whiz, you know. So, you know, I wouldn't have thought he played like he's playing now in his first or second year. In fact, I know he didn't. So sometimes that maturation process takes time.
On a more positive scale, Jack Billings came back after 350 days, fractured leg, kicked a pretty important goal. How'd you see his return?
Yeah, more than a fractured leg. Then he tore... Because I heard one of the pundits on SEN say, oh, he's played a few months in the two. Well, it's not accurate. He played 3 and tore his hammy and was out for another 3. He actually just played 2 on return. So we picked him really on his 2 on return. So, but to your point, he's had a long trail back in because of those reasons. And, yeah, I thought it was quite positive in a real sense. His decision-making would get better. We see him as a kicker. You know, we would have preferred him to kick a few times. I thought we over-handballed at times when we were out, but they overshared, you know. So, but that's that qualitative piece. But, yeah, I think he'd walk away thinking, you know, it's been worth persisting and persevering.
You mentioned qualitative piece a few times. What does that mean in specifics? What is that sort of...
Well, that's all there for you, isn't it? At the end of the day, it's kicks, marks, handballs, fumbles, drop marks and decisions, isn't it? And ultimately, we've been pretty good kicking for goal. I think they were 7-1 or 7-2 at some point. So they've had their issues with that, but then sometimes it's where you get them. On shot equity, which is the diving in behind, which you guys probably don't do but could do with all your resources. I think we just nudge them on shot equity.
It felt like you were running over them a little bit in that second half. As you said, if you kicked a goal in that fourth quarter, you had 8 inside 50s in a row. If you kicked one, you thought you might have gone on with it. Do you walk away from a result like that proud of the way you ran out with it, less legs? How do you sort of factor that into...
No, I just sort of back over what I said. We liked the method, we liked our character, we liked our desire, and we'd like to bottle it and take it to next week. And I think if we play like that, we'll be in plenty of games. But as we all know, when the ball bounces, it counts for nothing, unfortunately. Thanks, guys.